Hey, AfterBuzzers. If you didn't know, it's Kevin Undergaro, the executive producer of AfterBuzz, along with my partner, Maria Menounos.
Hi, everybody.
And Maria and I, as you know, have put so much time and money into the AfterBuzz TV product and really haven't seen a lot in return.
Nope, not yet.
But one of the ways you guys can actually help us is by tuning into our new reality show, Chasing Maria Menounos. It premieres Tuesday, March 18th, 10 o'clock, 9 p.m. Central, and features me and Maria basically bickering, fighting.
No, it's not just bickering and fighting. You get an inside look into my life, behind the scenes.
You'll also get a behind-the-scenes look at AfterBuzz.
It's really funny. It's not just bickering, and it's not fake either. So that's actually something
no.
to think about.
Definitely not fake. It's definitely not fake. But please tune in to Chasing Maria Menounos on Oxygen, Tuesday, March 18th at 10 p.m. All of your support will help AfterBuzz because Maria certainly won't.
So rude.
You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Helix After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Helix After Show.
Hey there, Helix fans. Oh yeah, let's let that groove sink in. You know where you are. If you don't, it's AfterBuzz TV. It's the Helix After Show. We're talking about Season 1, Episode 10, Fushigi. I'm Matt Lieberman. Joining me on the panel, of course, all season long, Liz Rishmawy.
Hey, guys.
Zach Wilson.
Thanks for tuning in.
And Stephen Lemieux. Ones and twos and threes and fours.
I didn't unmute myself.
Yeah,
You're
you didn't
welcome.
unmute yourself. Instead, you just screamed, and we were just like, what's going on?
I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I was like Dr. Allen. I was asking the question in all the wrong ways.
What's going on? Yeah. So before we even get started on what I thought was a really stellar episode, I can't wait to hear what you think about it. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, we just had a wonderful interview with Cameron Porsanda, the creator of Helix, and he revealed a lot of great info.
It was a blast.
It really, really was, and he's a delight, and it's a great interview. I highly encourage you to check it out. Whether you do it before or after this podcast, I don't care. But we're probably going to bring up the interview a lot, so you may want to listen to that before. But in any case, we got a lot of great stuff this episode. We got a nice, deeper journey into the Alan-Julia marriage and what's left of it. We met a brand new Silver Eyes friend. We learned about the 500. There was some blood sprayed. I mean, what'd you guys think?
There were 500 immortals.
Yes.
Ziz will blot out the sun.
Oh, I was thinking 300, yeah. Is it Liz?
That's exactly what I was going to say, but he beat me to it. And
Yep, deal with it.
he has a voice to actually... I can't yell over any of you today.
Yeah, she's trying to do the Billy Campbell.
Yeah.
She's
guys,
doing it pretty well.
I just
She's
want
committed.
answers.
Committed.
Yeah, no, that's
not
the
helping.
problem, Liz. You do that voice too much, it sticks that way. And now you're stuck. Yeah.
You're stuck. You never go full Campbell.
You never go full Campbell. Never go full Campbell.
I think I just sound like little Goten or something. I know you always mentioned Dragon Ball Z, so I was like, I just feel like I sound like Kid Goten. Like, wee, haha, Goten is birdie.
You sound like young Trunks. I think it's funny that we're the only ones who mention Billy's voice so much on our podcast, apparently.
Even Cameron brought it up. He's like, you guys...
Talk about it more than anyone else. We can't get
help
enough.
it.
We can't help it. But let's start with Alan and Julia then, because we got a lot going on in their storyline. So we saw at the end of the last episode Dr. Victor Adrian. He stole the samples of Narvik A and Narvik B and went off into the frozen wilderness. Julia had just found out that Hatake was her father. Yeah. Do we want to talk about... Let's talk about that first before we get into the Snow Cat and everything. So, obviously, at first, she's really upset about it. She doesn't know how to feel. She wants to know about her mother. And, I don't remember if it was this scene or later. Hatake reveals that her mother was killed by Constance for disobeying the rules or what?
And we find out, well, this was last episode, we found out that her mother was Jay, right?
Yes, her name was Jane, and she had misremembered
How does a
it.
5-year-old say Jay?
Yeah, Jay. And which, like, why is she calling her mom by
That's
her
what I
first
thought,
name?
too.
I think it's just like, but you know your parents' name, and you would say like, "What's your mom's name?" Jay.
Yeah, right.
One of those.
I would say Mitchell because my dad's name's Mitchell, and that's how that would have worked out. It's just a fun fact about me. How are you? But you know, she doesn't want to believe him, but also, you know, Hatake's not giving her anything.
I mean, Hatake has made lying breathing for him.
Right. It's like a sport, and he's like.
But it's to protect her. I mean, if she knew what she was,
right,
and if she knew she was one of the, I guess now 501, then it puts her in danger, because if there can only be 500, then they either have to kill someone, and if they're going by seniority, I'd say she's kind of up for the chopping block.
Right. But was she one of the 500 before he injected her, or before she got the virus, or is that his fault?
And is the 500, is it a biological clock? Like, is it like a biological limit? Because we were discussing a little bit earlier on during the interview. I wouldn't even call it a theory. Thought was that what if it's whatever's giving them that immortality? What if it's being pulled from some sort of like pool of pool
of energy,
pool
or
of energy,
life
however
force.
it works. That once you move beyond 500, it suddenly isn't working anymore.
It's unsustainable.
It's not as effective. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that would make it like a hard, like you can't have more than that, or they stop existing.
Right.
Or is it just somebody decided, no, we can only have 500. Whoever the board of directors are at Ilaria, we can only have 500 for whatever reason.
I think it's the latter. I think they can only have 500 because past that number, to have too many immortal people in the world is uncontrollable. I feel like there's a number of people that can be able to be controlled and tracked, and past 500, it just kind of gets more difficult. I also wanted to say that what was injected into Julia to make her into what she is, it basically revealed her recessive genes. It revealed her Hatake genes.
Is that what we're saying, though? Are we saying that he was a silver before, like, she was conceived with his mother?
Yeah, we can safely assume that. But I think that Jane was also a silver.
Yeah.
I think Jane was a human, and Hatake... Well, think of it one way then. Maybe you have to be, if your parents are silver, you can be turned into a silver. I don't know. I'm gonna go on with my original thought real quick. What if what was injected into her was not Sodra, but in fact Narvik B? In that, when you look at Neil, Peter, he needed Ziz to be reawakened as what he is.
That was such a disgusting
Maybe
scene.
she needed to be more infected to get her to the point of stripping her DNA.
Or maybe it was just like straight up his Hatake's DNA. Because maybe what's been keeping her from
it was
her
red.
stage.
It might have been his blood.
That's what Zach said.
Yeah,
blood.
That's what I thought initially when he had that little vial. I was like, oh, it's Hatake blood.
And I said
trademark.
that it didn't look like red enough or like the right consistency.
Do you think Hatake could have performed a spinal tap on himself?
Yeah, I was thinking
he is immortal
because they have Sarah talk about a spinal tap could have saved her by taking it from the
cerebral spinal fluid.
So what if Hatake took cerebral spinal fluid from himself?
Say cerebral spinal fluid, like
cerebral spinal fluid, cerebral spinal fluid, cerebral spinal fluid.
Okay, we get it.
From himself and put it into Julia, and that's what was in the container.
It's very possible. It's very possible. These are all very valid theories. I think we can agree on a few things and tell me if I'm wrong. Okay.
You're wrong.
Thank you. I think Hatake's a silver. I think Jane was also a silver based on the fact that Constance killed her for disagreeing with the rest of the 500. So she knew that they existed. I have to assume that the amount of humans who know of their existence are very, very slim.
But maybe Jay only knew about Ilaria. She had nothing to do with the 500.
Okay.
She didn't approve of the kids getting kidnapped. That's why Hatake said that the mother wanted to take her away.
Right.
They referred to, or Sutton referred to Julia as an abomination at one point. As if like the fact that Julia was born is so offensive to the Silvers.
But I don't think it's because Jane was human. I think it's because the Silvers aren't supposed to have children.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's the only way to maintain population. That's why it's blasphemous to have a child, because we can only have 500 of us. What are you doing? What are you trying to accomplish? And that also...
That would explain why the cabin's underneath the base, because they had to keep her a secret from
everyone else. And it also explains maybe why he kidnapped so many children, to cover up the fact that there was this other child there. She could, if there was ever an inspection, they could just put her in with all the other children, and they could cover up her existence, you know, relatively easily. Or
That's
at the very
interesting. I think they were legitimately doing, I think at Ilaria's behest.
Right.
I think they were
Experiments
doing
on children.
experiments.
Did we ever cover why Julia doesn't remember Hatake from her childhood?
We haven't yet.
I mean, because she barely remembers
blocked,
Jay, I guess.
It appears that she's blocked a lot of stuff out, but when we get to the end of the episode, right, and now she's taken the Narvik A and Narvik B samples for herself, and she didn't burn them with everything else in the Echelon station, maybe, you know, until these genes, these recessive genes came to the surface, she couldn't remember anything. We don't know why, though.
Well, just one thing real quick. When they talk about the genes and how the DNA changes, they say it changes back to the form of as an infant.
Right.
And I wanted to point out that children are closer to infancy than adults are. So it might be easier to reverse it and have the virus change children into silvers than it would be to change adults into silvers, because there's less to change. So in some way, the children could have been the first attempt, but at the same time,
I wonder,
then we'd have immortal children, and they couldn't have that, so they'd have to get rid of them.
Well, immortal children does not mean that they don't grow to adults.
Yeah.
Before they keep.
Well, that doesn't make sense. Why did Hatake stay the same all the time? Like, at what point does your body stop aging?
I don't know. I would say
here's
what I'll say, and this is, throw this out if it sounds stupid, but
throw it out.
Okay, your body, if you're a silver, your body matures to its prime age, its peak of intellectual and physical prowess before you start to degrade. So, you know, his body aged to some point in his early 40s, where
are we talking about Hatake?
Yeah, you know, where he his brain is at its most powerful, his body is still relatively virile, it hasn't started to decay yet, and maybe that's what happened, or it's when you're exposed. We're getting way too deep into theorizing. We're not talking about the show, this episode, and I want to talk more about the episode if we can. I'm sorry, I love theories.
Well, just.
Yeah,
on both of those
one
fronts.
more, and then we'll move on.
It is on this episode though,
Okay.
because Julia does bring, she has the Narvik A and the Narvik B samples, and
Right.
there's got to be a reason there, and so what I'm thinking is that because we get the return to infancy, the healing aspect of being a silver could also potentially help clear up blocked memories. So whatever it is that is so like whatever it is she knows now that we are unaware of, maybe she unlocked it because her brain healed.
That's true.
Here's something interesting. No, I love this point. What if she picked a side before her memory was lost? Like before she grew up, when she was still a child, because Gunnar talks about how he had to pick a side. If everyone in the 500 has to pick a side, and Constance knew of Julia's existence, what if Julia, you know, was indoctrinated with some of this belief system before she lost her memory?
Maybe.
Okay.
Interesting. And then this is all once it comes back to the surface,
It's all
those
coming
beliefs come back
to me.
And I also, in the episode, I thought, well, you thought too, I thought she got ice picked in the face.
Yeah.
And then she's like, it's just a scratch, and she seemed fine. And I wonder if that was like a worse thing, maybe making more
Like
out of
a
it
worse wound that healed almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was worse than she would have let on, but
Right.
I mean, I guess he could have like just gotten her.
Right, just grazed her, something like that. So,
or if he connected like flat instead of like with the pick.
All right. Well, we've kind of already gotten there, but let's talk about the Echelon station. Dr. Adrian, he runs off with the samples. He's trying to sell them to Ilaria. because he's sick of just being in this base and not getting paid, and he just wants to get out.
I kind of don't blame him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess he's supposed to be like a bad guy in that retrospect, but like, you want to go home, and it's like you're not getting paid, and it's like, yeah, you're kind of screwing over the entire world, but it's like, I didn't blame him in that instant. I should have hated him, but I didn't.
No, he's a huge dick, but I understand his reasoning.
I mean, basically, he knows, like, from what he overheard and stuff when the Ilaria soldiers were there, they're gonna kill him.
Yeah.
They're gonna like scorch the earth, get rid of everybody and everything.
Yeah.
So he's like, not only will he be dead, his life's work will be dead. He's like, I'm gonna get out of here.
I'm gonna do whatever I can to get out, and this seems to be the only way. Of course, they were gonna kill him anyway. But Julia and Alan go off to try to intercept him in this snowcat, and Julia brings up the night of this award ceremony. She received this major scientific achievement award.
Hatake voted for her.
Hatake voted for her. He was on the board. He was there that night, but Alan wasn't. Instead, he gave his ticket to Peter, which apparently this was the night that they first consummated their affair. What
was it there?
Could you say they slept together?
Well, I inferred that from something that Alan says later. I've always wondered if I hadn't given my ticket to Peter that night, would you?
Okay, yeah, that's yeah.
Right.
We know that they have hooked up multiple times, but I guess that was the first.
I thought she said it was only the one time.
No, that is what she told Alan originally. She was admitting that it wasn't just the one time.
I know. Peter told me.
Exactly. Yeah, and they're having this like really icy discussion, and like we start to get to see a little bit more of their marriage. Like we've been kind of so caught up in this situation that we haven't seen what their marriage was like kind of more at zero. Do you know what I mean? Like in a calm situation. And while this isn't calm, they're not being chased.
Well, what best to bring that out? Yeah, what best to bring that out than a road trip?
Exactly. That's when all the bad stuff comes up. Is on vacation. And
that's very true.
Yeah. You don't want to never go on a vacation with a significant
Steven's
other.
eyes are like, oh God, the memories.
Are you having a flashback, buddy? If you're listening, you missed a great Steven face.
He's dead, people.
Yeah. So
I am right now.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
They get to Echelon and they tackle Adrian and tie him up, but not after he tries to ice pick. He tries to ice pick both of them. Alan's able to knock it out of his hands, tie him up. And he's just taunting them while Julia's trying to get this radio to work. It was so much fun watching him taunt them and seeing that Julia is actually, she's a jack of all trades. She knows a little bit of engineering. She's fixing this radio, and she reaches somebody. She reaches the French, and the whole thing gets shot up before they can do anything about it.
Not before we see a little red dot on Adrian. My uncle died of red dot. Simpsons reference, if anyone got it. But that was kind of like funny because it reminded me very much of Breaking Bad, the second to last episode, but the last episode. But seeing just the red dot and they're looking like, and Adrian's like, you can tell he's like, what? What's going on?
What do I have? Yeah, exactly. And he's just dead. And then the sniper is just raining hellfire down on them from outside. And Steven is just pretending to be dead right now.
He's doing a really good job.
He's slumped. He
hasn't blinked at all.
He's frozen.
Your eyes are itching.
Yeah, your eyes are watering. You need to blink.
Sorry, guys. I'm a silver. I'm fine.
Okay. Yeah. They're afraid for their lives. And we get some, I loved seeing the two of them really interact with each other. We've heard a lot more about their marriage from the outside than we've actually seen.
I feel like we've been asking, as we get guests on the show, we've been asking for bits and pieces about those relationships that I'm sorry, I can't stand the sound of my own voice. I apologize to all the listeners, but I just feel like we've been wanting to know more of the meat of their relationship, and it took this long to start to get into it.
And it was a combination of isolation and then also Sarah dropping that little bomb in the last episode.
Please sleep with me again, Ellen.
She was under some heavy...
I don't care how much I've drank or how much I'm pumped up on meds. There's no way it would come out
You
like
have
that.
a
I'm just
little
saying.
fly in your hair, in the front of your hair. Yeah. All right, you got it.
As I said before, there's a literal fly.
There was a
There was a
literal
literal
fly
fly
in
on
Liz's
my
hair.
hair.
As I said earlier, I think that when it's Billy Campbell, you just ask nicely and hope he responds.
And he just asks and hopes he gets an answer, but never does.
No.
Just pointing this out, the name of the episode was Fushigi.
Fushigi.
And it is Japanese for mystery or secret, which is interesting when you look at,
I already knew
we see the doctor that's in that locked up in chains.
Gunner.
That's a secret. And then just the whole
Mikhailson.
secret of what Hatake is.
Yeah. And Gunnar was a Viking. So we can trace this back at the very least to like the early 700s.
790, like the late 700s.
Late
yeah, it was like
700s?
when Viking era began.
Okay.
Well, I
Wait,
want
was he starting to sing a song? Like, I didn't know if he was being serious about, like, used to being a Viking.
No, he was singing a Christmas song, but he was serious about he was a Viking. You don't get named Gunnar now. Gunnar Mikhailson is a Viking name.
Well,
Or
there
it's
is
Norse.
I will say that
Yeah.
though that this guy's clearly been down there for a while. He's gone
Yeah.
nuts. So there is always the possibility that he
What was
isn't
it, like
that
28
old.
years?
He's been down there
29.
for 29 years.
29 years.
Since the base was supposedly closed 1985.
Which lends itself to the fact that he was able to keep track of that lends itself to the Silver Eyes like level of intelligence that he was able to maintain that knowledge.
What did he say? He said you can go 4 minutes without air, 40 days without food, and how
4
long?
days without water,
And-
40 minutes without air. No, 4 minutes without air, 40 minutes.
4 minutes without air, 4 days without water, 40 days without food. And he has gone without all of those, or at least without food and water, for 29 years. 'cause
I
he's
don't know. I
immortal.
think he's been being fed and given water by Hatake.
No, because he said that it's like when you're immortal, it's like dying 10,000 times. And it's like,
Oh, I
think
see.
he's literally died or was supposed to die like 10,000 times in the span of 29 years because he hasn't been getting fed.
Right.
That's why he kept on drinking the water.
Oh, and that's why he knew how many days exactly he was there.
Exactly.
That's terrifying.
Because he died every 4 days.
That's
Because he
horrible.
didn't have any water.
Super horrific,
Yeah.
and that just shows how much Hatake loved Jane.
Exactly.
That he would do. He sentenced him to a life of death.
That's what he said, too.
That was terrible. I want to remember what Cameron said on our interview with him. He said, take everything he said as metaphor.
Everything that Gunnar said.
Yeah. So, like, everything Gunnar said as metaphor. I was a scientist. I was a Viking. I was a... he said a few other things. But, like, those are all other words of pioneers. And they
Yeah.
were pioneers in their field. So, you never know if he was actually any of those things.
Yeah.
But it's really just, again, with discovery. And
Yeah, that makes sense because it's like, how the hell could he be a Viking? Like, there's no way they came up with this
I mean,
concept.
who knows but who knows what it was
That
they
he
created.
was.
I mean, they're not hacking RNA 20 years ago. This is like however they did this, unless they're future travelers, which I don't think is what's happening here. Unless with that small possibility,
Right.
this is going to be some kind of scientific discovery that is outside of the realm that we understand. It's not going to be traditional science,
Yeah.
traditional modern science.
Yeah.
So while he could be a Viking, I think I'm on Stephen's page. I think that was like either a hallucination from
Yeah.
like just being down there for so long, or just an exaggeration. Like he might as well have been a Viking for
Fine.
how long he's.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying he could be a Viking. I'm just saying to take what he said at a grain of salt if he
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
not. Because honestly, I still think that there's a possibility that these people have been around for thousands of years.
Oh no, they have been around for a long time. So I'm saying it's possible. It could also go the other way.
Okay.
I'm saying there's two
It's fair.
distinct.
I should have asked
possibilities.
Cameron while I was here. These folks aren't from the future, are they? Just to see his face. I
He
wish
gave
that I had.
great
now.
He gave great facial expressions.
Yeah.
What's your name? Well, I'm bald and I have silver eyes. I am September.
Yeah. For a second, I totally did think it was Michael Cerverus from Fringe.
Fringe,
We're
yeah.
referencing Fringe. Okay, before we continue, gotta talk about iTunes.
iTunes.
Doing it a little late. Don't
Called
skip.
it, called it.
Yeah. Well, there's only one thing that I interrupt us to talk about, and it's iTunes. I want to thank everybody who's reached out on the iTunes, on the Twitter, on the YouTube. You guys rock. We love having amazing fans. Helix has amazing fans.
Fans.
Yeah.
Fans.
And we honestly, I say it every week, but I say it because it's the truth. We need your support to keep going, to be able to get such great interviews, like the interview with Cameron, to have so many interviews with the cast. Next week, we have 2 members of the writing staff on our show, Javier Gria-Marxwatch, and who's the other one?
Tiffany Greschler.
Tiffany Greschler are both going to be in the studio with us talking about Helix. Tweet us your questions. And go to iTunes, rate and review, wash and repeat. It really does help the entire enterprise. You know, AfterBuzz TV, we put out over 70 hours of quality content every week for free. And the only way that, you know, we're tracked in the ratings and that we're able to attract great sponsors and great guests is through your feedback. So anything that you can do would be really appreciated. I just want to give a shout out to some folks that reached out since last week.
On iTunes?
On iTunes.
This show by Sads9209.
Get it, girl.
I love this show. The guests that come on and the ideas that float around. This is one of the most enjoyable podcasts. And AfterBuzz Helix by Strike It Rich. Love the show, the podcast Matt and the Crew, but does every AfterBuzz podcast have to have a 4-minute house ad? Only when we're conscripted to do so.
Yeah.
Love you, Strike It Rich,
And
but it keeps the lights on to provide this free content for you guys.
Yes.
So I hope you support the ads that we do have to give out there. And then DW Spell, of course, naming Matt again because he needs a bigger ego than he already has.
It's true.
Guys,
I
this
need
room
a
is
way
just-
bigger ego.
Somebody pop it, please.
We gave him a whole side of the table.
I have my own side of the table. I have a mug of my own.
He's got
I
a
have
theme
microphone.
song.
I don't have a theme song yet, but I will.
He has a theme song. We just haven't revealed it yet.
Okay.
And DW Spell, great to hear Matt and the gang on another Helix podcast. Missing Lizzie on this week's show.
Yay! I missed. Thanks, guys.
We told you.
Rate and comment, guys. There's only 3 episodes left, and we just got the creator for you guys. I mean, come on.
Come on.
What else do you want from us?
I'm squeaking into a microphone for you guys.
Game over, man. Game over.
All right. Let's dial it back in. As much as I love silly.
Can we talk about
King Peter?
Miss Sarah Jordan?
Yeah, we can talk about Sarah. We're gonna get to King Peter in a bit.
God,
King. But yeah, Sarah has decided to use her last moments potentially on this earth, working to try to find a cure instead of waiting to die.
That felt so human, and I could connect to that in such a huge way because
Totally.
like that possibility of like not being, and we got a little bit of this earlier like in other episodes, but like just that possibility of having a goal in life and knowing that you will not reach it, like knowing to her very core that she will not be able to achieve it. So she gets back in that lab and she's like, I don't care if it kills me. I'm going to do everything I possibly can.
Can I just say how proud I am? Like, I don't think I gave myself props, but like way before she mentioned, why are you laughing?
Because you're proud of yourself.
I am
Continue.
proud of myself.
All right.
Way before, because I'm never right with the theories and stuff. But I was the one who said, I think that she somehow escaped because she just wants to do something with her life. Because she knows that she's not going to be here much longer. And like, it makes me like the character more, but also because I was right.
Okay. No, we're glad that she's out in the lab too, and she's giving, because all the other characters are off doing business, she gives this very powerful monologue to a computer as she realizes what's going on with Julia's DNA. Hatake tells her to look at it more closely, and
Which, Hatake, I know you like to lie.
Yeah.
It's his thing.
Right.
But I don't get this
know
one.
exactly what she's gonna say.
He's leading her. He's like, here's all the information you need, but I won't just tell you. This is like a weird teacher-father thing where it's like, I know what you need to know, but I want you to find it out for yourself.
Well, maybe on some level he can't tell her.
I mean, that was my only thought, is that either there is actually a biological compulsion that prevents him.
Oh, I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. It's the best way to maintain control over the whole group, especially if there is no governing body. If they all biologically, if it's a biological imperative that they protect secrets.
Much the way that the vectors are biologically compelled to spread the virus.
I love this idea.
So there's that, almost like the, if anyone's watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the way that the clairvoyant speaks to people.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Sweet.
Because he can't say it up front. He can't tell her, hey, this is what's going on.
Right.
You have to be like, hey,
Yeah.
baby, check out that DNA.
Yeah. I heard you slept with Alan.
Check out my DNA, baby.
Or it's like if anybody has read, oh God, it's if anybody has read Ender's Shadow, the Ender's Game parallel.
You're
book.
just all over the place with references. I love today. Continue.
Ender's Shadow is one of my favorite books, but there's a character in that who was studying cloning, which was banned, and to prevent him from telling anyone, from disseminating his research to people, they put an implant in his brain that should he even think about cloning, he passes out. Like, he just can't do it. And at one point, he's like struggling, trying to pass this information along through a back door, leading someone. Like, if you do research into this passage in the Bible, you'll see. And it's like, but it's getting them to that answer. So maybe it's something like that.
He would not like Orphan Black.
Yeah, that's true. And Orphan Black is a great show about cloning. If you're not watching that show, you should watch that show.
I like how I'm just sitting here, like, I have no idea because I don't know these references. I need to read more.
It's okay. It's a great book. We'll get you the book. Yeah. So Sarah discovers that in Julia's cerebral spinal fluid is potentially the key to ending cancer. And reducing people's basically their body chemistry back to that of a newborn. Like it removes all of the traces of disease or any of like the key ingredients.
The damage that's been done
all the
over
damage that's been done to your body will be restored, and that's what's happening to these silver eyes. Is it's consistently being restored over and over again.
I'm wondering though, that whole thing confuses me. Like with the guy. He got like hacked in the neck, and then he was like very happy that he was dying, but it was like, what is the degree of damage that a silver eyes has to actually sustain
to die?
Yeah.
I think if you lose all your blood, you pretty much die. I think getting your neck chopped open like that,
I mean,
he bled to death.
It's
But the
essentially,
heads, though.
But it's the same level as having your head cut off. You have bled out from the neck.
Right. But I assume that they're keeping these heads around because they can still come back to life. These cells regenerate. That's why Constance was filing her teeth. Their cells constantly regenerate.
If they are kept on ice,
they can come back to life.
Okay, because they burn the body, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like they burn him with the whole satellite station. But that was a crazy scene, though.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing the way usually they're a little bit more discreet with like neck wounds like that, but they literally just like it looked like he had like a big chunk of skin in it.
They like chomped a hole.
And it just
it was rad.
That was
really well done.
Graphic as all hell. But it really like you watch.
I liked it.
You rewatch that scene, and you're just like, wow, this guy the whole time he's saying, "Kill me, kill me, kill me."
Yeah.
Yeah, free me, free me, free me.
Yeah, which that was our answer to last week at the on the Access Granted site, who was saying "free me, free me, free me" over and over again.
And it was Gunnar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which he's Gunnar McCallison.
Yeah.
So just like the idea that all these silvers are from such vastly different parts of the world.
Yeah.
You have Sutton, who has sort of like a Nordic background. McCallison, who could be from like Scotland,
Hatake.
Scottish, Irish. Yeah, Hatake from Japan. That these are not just like one like group of people born out of like Russia or Europe. These people are from all over the world. They are not from the same family line, most likely.
Right. Which is the craziest thing because Gunnar, you said, Stephen, to take it with a grain of salt, that it's kind of metaphorical. He said that they discovered this thing, ages ago that gave them this ability. They potentially were once human. But it wasn't just a tribe that discovered it. It wasn't like a meteorite landed and they discovered it.
Wild theory.
Please.
What if it starts out with just like one person discovers it, or two people discover it, and they travel the globe finding people that are good enough.
Finding scientific minds who could further their cause.
Or not even just scientific, but like, because it takes people of all kinds to run the world.
True.
And I'm assuming that's their goal.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they want to run everything. Sort of like like I said in the other podcast, a Freemason-like society.
I think this is very interesting because I don't think, again, I wasn't here last week, but I think it's very interesting, the concept of us tapping into what this is, how you become a silver eye, what it could be. you know, before we were just thinking that this disease, the virus, it was just some weird twist of the virus, and like, you know,
Narvik.
Well,
Sodra.
And how much it's elaborated into like, well, God, this could have been around for like thousands of years, and it could just be something that somebody stumbled on. And Stephen is raising his hand.
No, I was just checking the air
And
conditioner.
Stephen is stretching and checking air.
All right, that's fine.
I just think, but it's really cool to me. But it's like, but then what is the purpose of Narvik?
Well, that's the big question. It appears that they want to
Is it to
thin
control
out.
them?
It's to thin out the human population. We've postulated, we speculated that it's because the Earth is running out of resources, and they want to undo the damage to the planet.
That, I mean, I love that as a basic concept for a show alone, like,
Right.
because that is something, it taps into something real in society right now, which is the fact that we are abusing and overusing all of our resources.
Right. And our planet will be uninhabitable within a conceivable number of generations.
It's gonna be like WALL-E.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to go to Mars, but that's another day, another story.
Right.
Well, Stephen was, I think, the first one to also mention that this could just be like a future mutation, like a beyond mutation of like what we're supposed to be at.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't think so now that I think about it, because like no creature should ever like achieve immortality.
Actually, I really kind of think that they might have found. I can't remember the name of it.
Fountain of Youth.
Well, I mean, everyone likes the mythos of
The fountain.
The fountain of the opera. Fountain of Youth.
Oh, brother.
Fountain of Youth.
Continue.
So everyone likes the option
Star Wars
of that,
Episode
but it's
1,
also
The Fountain Menace.
Yes, the Fountain Menace. Everyone likes the concept of it, and it's always had that connotation of it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
So we don't know if they're trying to develop a virus that can actually prevent them from being immortal, to actually turn it back on them.
Well, yeah.
But I guess they could just, if they want to die, they can die, right?
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be the case. So you got to really like wonder why they're doing this virus. And all I can think of is 500 people can only control what's conceivable. And once it gets to the numbers in 6 billion people, they can't really control where history is going to lead. So they're...
But at the same time...
Ilaria, Illuminati, I said it in the other interview, it seems like they're playing on this a lot with these are the people who are controlling the path of the human race in technology and whatever to get to the point where they want to get it to again. And if you think about it, you can go back to another statement I made where they were the Greek gods. If you think about them as a different species not from this planet, you can also think of them as, okay, they're trapped on this planet, they live forever, how do they get off? They steer the native population to the point where they can develop the technology to make it happen.
Right.
So, you never
I
know.
also think that maybe, going back to what you said, like, why would they need, if they could die, if they could just kill themselves, I think the virus being like a way, if they want to make people immortal again and so they can gain control over people. Also, all of these Silver Eyes people are smart. I feel like they would see someone coming and it would be too messy to just like go shoot up a bunch of people. So at the same time, I think it's just a way to like cleverly ninja, like you know, like if they had to get rid of people.
Or they all took Aztec medallions from the island of Tortuga, and Captain Jack Sparrow ran away with one of them.
And we're out.
But before we get off of that, because I still love your idea that they are the Greek gods. I'm seeing it in a sort of like Thor-esque fashion where they're not
Which is
the
not
gods.
Greek. I'm just sorry.
No, not. I'm talking about the way that Thor in Marvel Comics is introduced.
The demigods.
But not. No, they're not gods in any way.
They're aliens.
They're not even aliens. But so let me get my point out. Just that they are superpowered beings of one kind or another.
Right.
That humans at that time had no way of understanding, and so a mythology forms around them.
Sure.
That then starts to make up this giant like storyline of the Greek gods. So like somebody like Hatake is like, if we compare him to Hephaestus, like they see this guy who can just make anything with some form of science that he has, and they have no idea. It looks like magic to them.
Right.
They're going to play a lot on the similarities between all countries in their histories and in their folktales of things similar to the Greek gods. Basically, all countries have similarities, and they're going to play on that to make these people fit in with those histories for each thing.
Exactly.
Like even Japan has history and stories that are similar in some aspects to the gods of Greek.
The myth, we're talking about Joseph Campbell, the hero with 1,000 faces, you know, all these different cultures are still telling the same stories or similar stories that have a similar structure, because ultimately we all are people. We all have something in common. We need to move on because we're running low on time. I want to touch on Mixa and Tuluk and Sergio and Anana.
Not to mention Peter.
Oh yeah, and we still have the God King.
Oh yeah, and I was gonna say this. Sorry, just one last note.
Yep.
The Titans. If you think of them, the Vectors are the Titans because they're the incomplete gods, and they're the people who go berserk from.
Okay, fine.
Think of that.
I like it. Okay, we got to talk about these folks. Sergio's being patched up by Anana. They totally kiss. They're totally gonna bang. Mixa and Tuluk are gonna beat the crap out of him.
Balls and bananas.
Yeah.
Balls and bananas.
Balls and bananas. Yeah. This pairing.
Just one banana, you guys.
This pairing, they feel so deeply about each other, even though they barely know each other. But you know, he saved her people. She wants him to be a better person. He wants to be a better person.
There
but
needs to be more
he
scenes
can't
where the
escape.
shirt is off.
Right. He can't escape the things that he did. And then he swoops in for this kiss, and like, don't get me wrong, I love both of these people. He's like, it's just a very awkward, like, he does like this little, like how a goose's neck,
like a hook.
Okay, so it wasn't just me that felt like there was something off.
Yeah,
that scene.
Yeah, he hooked in. He went down and then up.
Only a woman.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, their chemistry
is great.
Is great, and it built up. There was something off
about the kiss.
And what led up to it. That just I was like, this doesn't feel.
It was because she was
like
slightly hesitant, but then was into it. I think that's what they were going. I don't think it was really that much more than that.
But
that he wasn't really sure of doing it, but it'll totally piss Miguel off.
Yeah.
Mixa, sorry.
Yeah. So here's the thing. They're trying to evacuate the town, the village, because Ilaria is going to come back and kill everybody.
You know which guy got away, right?
Yeah.
Because when we were watching the episode, I saw it as the guy went around the building, around the corner. And I was like, hey, there was a guy that went around the corner. I guess they just...
Oh, last episode?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I guess they killed him or something.
Nope.
And I'm like, oh, okay, they didn't kill him.
No, and he turned out to be our sniper.
I didn't notice
That's good to know that like it's in there though. You can go back and see it.
I like that it's in there. We got this. He turned into the sniper. Mixa kills him, and then saves everybody. And that's that storyline. Okay, let's talk about the God King. I know we're shortchanging Sergio this week. Sorry, Mark, but we've so little time.
But I like their little bonding experience though, between Mixa and like I think it's very interesting.
And Tuluk or Sergio?
Wait, that was no. Mixa and Sergio.
Yeah.
I just think it's very interesting, and again, kudos to the writers for this because it's these two people that absolutely hated each other, that everybody else.
Now they're gonna be friends.
No, they still hate each other.
Well, they still hate each other, but it's like
he's gonna hate him once he
It's
realizes that he's
respectful
banging his
hatred.
sister.
Yeah,
it's true.
Stop being so rude.
Oh, sorry. Fine.
But
once he's done making sweet consensual love to his sister, who is still his sister.
You know who wants to make sweet consensual love?
Is
Pete.
Is the God King.
Pete the God King.
When he burst out of the ceiling and was just like coiled rage, I'm just like, go Neil! How awesome are you, man?
It was so bad, and it looked like they like played with the speed of the video a little bit, but it felt like it looked real. It was just, but the movement was so snappy. It was awesome.
Almost like it was like 12 frames a second instead of 24. Like it was just like half speed. Like bam.
Well, no, it looked like they actually sped up parts because he snaps into motion.
When he's trying to look for the pictures.
But they but it felt inhuman.
Yeah.
In like the best way.
Mm-hmm. And his makeup is evolving in a really cool way.
Oh my god. But it's so funny because the entire time when they show that close scene when he's in the pipe again and he's looking at pictures, I just keep picturing him eating lunch with people and just peeling his skin off. Like, what, guys? What do you mean you're not hungry?
But that scene that like we only got like 2 quick little scenes of Peter in this, and they are so
awesome.
Well, 3 either way, so powerful in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And like he takes these pictures. And that just opens up a world. Like, not only is he still conscious in there, my theory is that he's using the pictures to hold on to his humanity. That it's a constant struggle, that he has to fight the infection, he has to fight it from just taking over, and the pictures being visual are helping him keep that part of himself there.
I love this theory. I wish you had brought this up when Cameron was here.
Can we point out, how does he know that that photo album existed?
I don't know.
Again, I said it on the last podcast.
I know that you think that he was in on everything and he knew about Hatake and blah, 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 blah. That's why I'm pointing it out, though.
Blah, 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 blah over that. That's a huge theory.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know, but I just...
We also found out that he can still talk, which I didn't think that he could anymore. But he can. It's just hard for him. Yeah.
It's not how you communicate with vectors. That's why he was just screeching.
You notice he didn't attack Hatake either. So you know that somewhat of the Silver Eyes effect can work on Peter as well.
Right.
Or did Peter not want to attack Hatake? We don't know what kind of... We don't know their full past, what the dynamic is between them.
I'm pretty sure I'm wrong on this, but like I wonder, it's like maybe he's special because he slept with Julia and then he got infected and she was like already some sort of weird silver eye producer.
The silver STD?
Yeah.
He caught the silvers?
Yeah.
It's a silver transmitted disease.
There's a cream for that.
Yeah.
Peter, you got to check that
Stop
out.
making fun of me.
I just love this moment because Zach Wilson's head was in his hand and he couldn't handle what was going on right now. And that's always a great day
for him. He just can't.
Yeah, the silver STD, just no.
Okay.
Just no.
That's not what I meant. He turned it into that.
It's an STC. It's a sexually transmitted cure. It's an
God.
STC.
Just stop.
Yeah,
Stop
face
talking.
in hand, face in hand. Okay, we got to wrap up. Let's do predictions.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Soundboard's not working though, so...
Right.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, we've been doing theories all week. What do we think is happening next week?
Oh, God.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I think the war between the vectors and the humans is gonna escalate. We're gonna learn a lot more on the vector front. I think that early in the episode, Julia is gonna save Sarah because we see Sarah up and about in one of the clips in the next time little sequence.
Oh, I missed that.
She was up and about with the rest of the group. Those are my predictions.
I think that Julia is going to bring the Narvik to Peter down in level X and try to figure out what's going on and what Peter knows because Hatake's not telling her anything.
I love that.
I was going to say that, and I also think
Sure
that...
you were.
Shut up. I think... So mean. I think that that's going to happen, and I also think that I want to know if we're going to see some more 500s come in.
Okay.
Like, I think it's going to build up. You know there's going to be some big thing that happens 3 episodes from now. So I think it's going to start building up to that huge, whatever the season finale is going to be.
Okay. I like all these.
I think Ilaria is coming back quickly.
Yeah, in force on Moss. I like that. Great episode. We want to thank you all for joining us. And please check out that Cameron interview if you haven't already. Liz, where can the people find you?
Hey everyone, good to be back, and you can follow me on Twitter at Lizzie Maui. That's at LIZZYMAWY.
Okay, Zach.
You can catch me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, and also here at AfterBuzz on Grim, Archer, and we just started Resurrection.
Yes, and I'm going to be on that as well.
Yeah, Matt was out this week, but he will be joining us for next episode.
Zach did an amazing job leading that panel. He's going to be leading it all season long. Steven.
What if someone you lost who had died? No, I'm just kidding. You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, STEPHENLEMIEUX, right there. And throwing it to you.
All right, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can find me at Matt Lieberman. That's MATTLIEBERMAN. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV, on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., on Cougar Town, Justified, Banshee, Lost Girl. I got Resurrection with Zach Wilson. I got a bunch of stuff coming up in the spring. Mad Men's coming back. Orphan Black is coming up. Playing House on USA. And probably some more stuff. I don't know. And big announcements to come. Please stay tuned. I love you all. Good night.
Show me potato salad.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Ziz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.